NFT NYC review coming back at you as we're location scouting through the desert. Wanted to talk about the people that and the companies and the projects that I think are going to make it through this bear market, and I want to just give some rationales to my thinking is why. Zero financial advice here, guys. In a more in a sense, I'm talking about projects that we can invest in creatively, because here's the thing: we're all not going to be founders, and that's okay. And the more self-aware you are of type of thing that you like to do is great. I'm part of another group. I didn't found the thing because I don't like marketing. I don't like shilling. I just like talking about the art and the things that I like to do, and story and narrative and creating. And so when I can find partners like that in the space, it's fantastic. And so established brand, hey, I don't have to shill anything for 9 weeks straight and then not mint out and then feel horrible for the people that did contribute. So but we're looking at those projects, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, that in a sense had a strong presence at NFT NYC, but also were indicative of projects that are doing the right things with NFTs, meaning NFTs are a fundraise, right? They give you that first initial round of fundraising where you don't have to, most people went to quote unquote angel investors. Let's be very honest, those are just rich people probably family, who are going to give you that seed capital. This is how a lot of movies get made. This is how my movies get made. I go to people that they know me, and I'm like, hey, I need this bit because I'm going to do X, Y, and Z with it, and I pay them back. And so I have a great record paying everyone who's ever contributed to my films back. But this is a world where you don't have to do that anymore. You don't even have to go to somebody, on your knees begging. If you have a good concept, if you have great art, if you have these things that can give you a bit of a lead-in into a peek as to your vision of a particular, piece of media, etc. So, with that being said, we're also talking about these things that are pre-IPO, they're unvetted in so many different, in so many ways. They're not vetted whatsoever. People can go on and be anonymous and do an NFT. People can, completely BS I can't remember that project's name that bombed with Kevin and the quasi Pokemon thing. So we all know about the bad stories, and I think that's why it's scared away a lot of people from the space. And I think what we're about to hit now is this huge start of projects that had done well and have minted, making their money, making their $3 to $5 million. You have some projects that are struggling now to make that mint because people we're very wary of this thing that we're doing now, and we're not just collectors, we're investors. And again, let's be very straight that this is what it is. We want to see our bags increase. Early days on the show, I started off the show. How are you gonna make me rich? When you look at a piece of of a project and buying it into an NFT, how are you gonna make me rich? Intellectually, are you gonna enrich my life in so many ways socially? Are you gonna give me access to things? What is it that you're gonna do for me? Art doesn't cut it. I don't buy this BS. Art should be good enough. That is this whole subsection of NFTs, and I appreciate those. I do appreciate those, but those better damn appreciate and value, right? It's just why do you click art? Oh, I love the piece. Well, yeah, great. You love the Banksy piece because it it makes you look baller, and it does these great things and appreciates in value. So, and that's part of the artistic journey. They do control that with their marketing. They do control that with their next collection that they do. So don't buy this BS that it's purely about the art. If you're not on board with that, you're somehow not a part of this space in a real way. A lot of people like to poo-poo the paper hands, as they say, but it's the paper hands of the people that initially buy that make this thing run. And those people are afraid because I think there's a lot of bad stuff out there. Now, the good stuff, when you look at sort of the marketplace, as these people made their $3 to $5 million, they're starting to now, with the reduction in ETH, and if they held it in ETH, and you know, help them if they if they put it into, you know, the stable coin that didn't turn out to be so stable, they're losing their value. They're losing their war chests, in which they thought that they had. And so you have projects like Vogu. I don't want to drag them under the bus or anything like that, but they went back out to mints because they ran out of money. And we talked about this on the show. They ran out of money, and they're just like, oh, they're worn out, sort of like all of the people that mod. I always hate to hear these stories of, you know, people that are just doing stuff for free as part of the community, but this is work. And so if somebody's asking you to mod, you get paid. Definitely get paid for this stuff, guys. Do not do any work for free in this space, because somebody's making the money, and it's them, it's the founders. They're making a hell of a lot of money, and they're wasting it, and they're squandering it, except for these few. And like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and put in the comment section who you think is going to make it through this bear market, because they have great teams, they have great initiatives, and they're doing the right things as if they're running a business, and they are. And so running these projects, I mean, you look at, you know, straight away the artifacts, you know, RKTF. It's like, it's a clear example of a project that, you know, did well, and it's a beautiful project, and now they're going to town and building out, you know, sort of metaverse tools. In that interim, they got purchased by Nike. Now, that serves as a massive sort of influx of capital, if necessary, by combining with a legit, you know, I would say legitimate, but a brick and mortar business, or a business that is existing, that makes a profit, that is already running. And so look to companies like that. You know, I'm looking at a lot of projects that are sort of on the fence here. Like, let's talk about ones on the fence really quick. Cryptoon Goons, really on the fence, really great, like showing in New York. I don't know if they got the crowds that they thought they were going to get. I tried to go to events, but I really wasn't seeing. I did meet a lot of great people though from the project, and I love the project, and I'm still a holder to this day. You guys can check out sort of my mint experience, I believe, on a previous show. But they, I think, are trying to find, you know, sort of their balance as to, okay, how do we push forward? What is that? And I think they're trying a lot of great things. And this is why I bring them up as an example, because I think they're doing the right things. They are partnering with Urban Outfitters and had a collection with Urban Outfitters. So it's a proper, you know, brick and mortar business makes money collab. So they should be getting some profits. Hopefully, there's no returns from the stores of the merchandise that they're selling. And they are a very sophisticated, savvy group of streetwear manufacturers. And so these people, they know how to make streetwear. I think I've showed you guys my hat before. It's just made differently. This is not something you order mass market online. This is go to the vendor with a design that's original, that Sean, an amazing artist, has given you, and say, okay, great, like, how does this incorporate into streetwear? So it's a really fantastic team that's incorporating, you know, a great artist with the savviness of streetwear, and then now we're doing brand partnerships. So, you know, yeah, bullish, but, you know, it's just this isn't just bullishness. It makes sense as a business model, and something we need to look at as creators ourselves and as collaborators within these groups. You know, what's the opportunity for that group to survive this? You know, we'll save these other questions. I always, you know, posit to them about, you know, how can the holders get, you know, involved in that? Can we make streetwear as well? Can we make this, you know, these sort of things that I sort of get like the sort of the side eye sometimes from the founders, because that's the Web 2 mentality that they have. You know, they really want success for them. They've had a bunch of success, but let's put this into context. That was a few months ago. That was maybe, you know, half a year ago at this point. And they're looking for that next thing. Oh, what's going to validate me? What's going to make me amazing and thought of as, you know, a front runner in space, and put my place. Sorry for that stroke. My place in the history books, really, of NFT space. And I think a lot of people are suffering from that right now, wanting to be a part of the history book writing in a weird way. but it is all about then self, right? And that sort of throws me out of why are you in Web3? So, in the hope of Web3, right? I mean, if it's about that, guys, we're just regurgitating the same shit. We're going to fail again. Bubble's going to burst, and it's not going to work. And so that's why I think that Jack Dorsey's like, I'm going on to Web 5 because he's just like, we've blown it with 3. Too many people like Zuckerberg are in the space and trying to think that, oh yeah, this is I'm going to just tokenomics all this out, and it's going to be profitable for the central company and bring fame and notoriety to the founders. And so, yeah, how many people you know in nouns, right? That's why I think I like nouns. Like project we followed a long time ago here. We were actually part of I was showing you guys nouns when it was in beta, which was a really fantastic time. So, looking at projects that we think are definitely going to make it, it's the ones that have partnered with larger corporations, and I think you got to look at the ones with the teams. One that struck me was, of course, Bored Apes. Of course, I think 10K TF, which we cover here on the channel quite often. Seem to have great partnerships, and like 10K TF with a Gucci collabs within Louis Vuitton, and so you have a sense that they had to make partnerships in the world of businesses that are already making money, so they can tap into those resources in these collabs, in these money-making opportunities like Gucci Grill, and so it's a really fantastic type of business models. So looking at those that can collaborate with mainstream, already profitable companies speaks a lot. Because you just gotta imagine, like even Doodles was like, okay guys, we need to get serious. Let's get Pharrell in here. Let's get some proper collabs that want to be associated with the notoriety of Pharrell, and so they named him was it Chief Brand Officer or something like this. And so it's just a really great way for them to say, hey, great, let's bring this influencer-led media kind of mentality. It's a bit Web 2.0, right? But it still allows for major businesses to say, okay, we understand this. We understand Pharrell. We understand that you have notoriety as Doodles within the space. We want to be in the space. That's a no-brainer to develop a partnership with. So those that are setting themselves and aligning themselves for partnerships with brands like Doodles, I think is a really great bet. Again, no financial advice. I'm saying bet meaning they're going to make it through this bear market and maybe come out the other end much stronger as a project, defining what Web3 is and what it can be. And so, but one sort of quasi one that came to mind was you have Bored Ape, of course. Sure, they got so much money. They're going to be well capitalized. They're going to make it through the bear. There's so much demand for them still. In the secondary markets, they're just cranking stuff out. And we talked about on the show yesterday, other side deeds could be really something. They're going to go into their middle of this month, their beta, and so it's going to be really great for them. Turnover, profits coming from secondary market. So they have a war chest that's constantly was growing and growing. Then you have their partner, Animoca. I think Animoca, talking about Sandlot, they're the creators of the Sandlot, or Sandlot, the movie The Sandlot with the big Cujo dog, Sandbox, metaverse, voxelized project that houses Adidas, Snoop Dogg, and Gucci, and they have made those brands, connections and have those great things. But I thought also, like, what's going to really get them through too is they're building out other side land, and they're building out, these metaverses on contract. So they already have on contract sort of an influx of money. So as long as the Bored Apes, are doing well, and other side land's doing well, Animoca's doing well, thereby Sandbox might still be doing well as well. So things to kind of look at in terms of like, where do I hedge my bets, meaning where do I place my investment of time, energy, and creativity. This is what I'm talking about. Flip what you want, guys. It's, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different show for people who care less about you. I give a shit about you guys. And so, I'm talking about where you should be building as a creator, because that's what's going to suck is if you're building with somebody and, that project runs out of money, what next? I think what next is going to be interesting. I'm hearing a lot more about mergers and acquisitions. And so there's been a lot of acquisitions of projects that have kind of just fallen through. And, in that sense, I don't want to say, hey, like Bored Ape did for CryptoPunks, but in that way, that led the conversation of oh gosh, successful project, somewhat successful project A could combine with somewhat successful project B to create and carve out a space within a niche. And I think that niche could very well be something, powerful, because you get more collaborators within a group. I love the collabs. It's the potential collabs in AR. So many great AR projects. I love the potential collabs within 3D, obviously. And so there's a lot of potential collabs there that could really equate to a strengthening of a project. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that, honestly, to be able to see okay, great, these groups are gonna have to be working together, because there's a lot of really smart individuals that have found the burden of floundering, and so say that 3 times fast, and so they have been just beaten down, and so maybe it's going to be a shot in the arm to have new partners and to have renewed excitement when you not just collab, but in a meaningful way where you join forces to attack a very finite space. And so look to those to get you through this bear market, because right now it's so speculative. It's really hard to see who's going to quote unquote make it through, and if you've invested all your time on even just on a Discord, man. I mean, we talk a lot about just going through whitelisting processes, and you just waste so much time. And it's just and if you don't get whitelisted, it's just we went through this a long time ago. I think it was Sevens, where I spent, and I showed you guys, I spent nearly 3 days, if not longer, on a project. Sorry, I feel like I'm a little lost. Where am I going through here? This is how I felt when I was in Sevens. I was I'm lost. I'm trying really hard to have these people be my friends, and when they didn't, it was just this guy who said he was my uncle, didn't work out. A lot of windstorms in the desert here. When it didn't work out, I was literally left just with nothing, absolutely nothing. And then it's probably the same as when you buy into a project and then it fails to deliver, or it rugs or something. It's just gone, and you have to try and leverage what you learned and move on to the next thing, and on your journey. And so looking at, I know they might be a little more expensive right now, and that's why they're more expensive, to find those sort of, I don't want to keep saying blue chips, but ones that you feel you have a bit more certainty about because of these connections. But look for the smaller ones that are doing those similar things, that are looking to make meaningful collaborations with brands, that are making meaning, because that eventually could turn into a buy, or just making great collaborations within the space, as to, hey, pretty soon those teams probably should merge at some point. So we'll check you guys on the next one. Be safe out there. It's crazy time.